Vitara Brezza or Baleno. The Maruti Suzuki Vitara Brezza has been yet another successful car for the Indian car manufacturer. It's their first compact crossover, so it's a late entry into the segment. However, the competition has been worrying ever since the car rolled out. Ford even slashed prices of the EcoSport despite increased taxes and production costs. The Maruti Suzuki Vitara Brezza that way is priced well. However, in my opinion, the crossover could have been priced even lower than the current entry price of Rs 6.99 lakh. Why, you ask? Well, compare the price to Maruti Suzuki's very own Baleno. It's a premium NEXA hatchback and is actually priced lower than Rs 6.34 lakh. A lot of readers have even written to us, asking if it makes sense to buy the Maruti Suzuki Vitara Brezza or the S-crossover the Maruti Suzuki Baleno. Maruti Suzuki Baleno _ helpdesk January 16. Let's compare the two then. In terms of price, the extra premium that the Maruti Suzuki Vitara Brezza demands basically gives you SUV-like styling and a slightly larger car in terms of width and height in the same footprint as the Baleno. Both vehicles feature the DDI's 1.3-liter engine. The Brezza gets the more powerful version that produces 90 PS and 200 Nm of torque. The Baleno
Introducing the sporty, the sexy, the glamorous Vitara Brezza! The all-new Vitara Brezza
produces 75 PS and 190 Nm. But it's only on paper that the latter looks underpowered. On the road, the Baleno is quicker to 100 km/h and in fact drives smoother, and the motor even feels a lot more linear in terms of power delivery. Overall fuel efficiency is much better thanks to a lower curb weight and a more efficient motor. Driving in town and highway is as effortless. There is no petrol option available, so you're forced to get the diesel. The Baleno, however, gets a petrol option and is priced even lower at just Rs 5.15 lakh. Maruti Suzuki Baleno vs Honda Jazz vs Hyundai Elite i23. Maruti Suzuki Baleno interior. Maruti Vitara Brezza 3. Maruti Suzuki Vitara Brezza interior. The Maruti Suzuki Baleno's ergonomics are better too. The seats are more comfortable and the overall quality seems to be a notch above. There's more rear room on offer and the boot space is higher too. Surprising since both the vehicles are exactly the same length. For a crossover, the Maruti Suzuki Vitara Brezza offers decent ground clearance 198 mm, but the Baleno isn't far behind at 170 mm, the difference being just a finger's length. Both cars get a long list of standard and optional features, but the Maruti Suzuki Baleno is my pick again as it offers safety features like ABS and airbags as standard. The entry-level Brezza costs more and shockingly only gets a standard driver airbag and no ABS. Strangely, the Vitara Brezza isn't an NEXA offering while the Baleno Island Brezza vs Baleno. This means you pay less and still get NEXA benefits. The Vitara name tag has been around for years now and it represents Suzuki's tough and capable all-wheel drive SUVs. The Brezza that way disappoints as it isn't an SUV and doesn't offer all-wheel drive. It only makes sense then to choose it over the Baleno if you're out there looking for a diesel crossover with SUV-inspired styling. The Maruti Suzuki Baleno otherwise is still the sweeter deal.
Introducing the sporty, the sexy, the glamorous Vitara Brezza! The all-new Vitara Brezza.
The Brezza, or Baleno by car market leader Maruti Suzuki India Limited, will start paying royalty to its Japanese parent in rupees instead of yen on the new model starting this financial year, reducing the impact of cross-currency volatility on its financials. The Brezza, Maruti Suzuki's first compact sports utility vehicle, which was launched on March 9, is the first model for which the firm will pay royalty in the Indian currency. 3 people familiar with the matter said on condition of anonymity. This is a step towards insulating the company from the foreign exchange fluctuations, one of the 3 persons said. Going ahead, as older model gets phased out and new ones get added to Maruti's portfolio, the currency risk will get eliminated, the person said. The Maruti Suzuki spokesperson declined comment on the matter, saying that the company is in the silent period ahead of its fourth quarter earnings announcement. The move, analysts say, is positive for the local arm of the Japanese car maker that has its fortunes closely tied to the movement of the Japanese yen. Every 1% appreciation in yen impacts the company's EBITDA earnings before interest, tax, depreciation and amortization, an indicator of operating profitability, by 1.2%, said Nish Sharma, an analyst at Phillip Capital India Pvt Limited. Since the beginning of 2016, the yen has appreciated 10.31% against the Indian rupee. It's a positive move and will help the company mitigate the risk associated with currency volatility, said Sharma, pointing out that this ties in with Maruti's attempts to increase local content in its products to reduce imports and exposure to the yen. Both recent launches, the premium hatchback Baleno and the Brezza, have locally sourced parts to the tune of 98%. Maruti's exposure to the yen is in the form of the royalty it pays to Suzuki Motor and imports of raw materials. In an earnings call after declaring its quarterly results on January 28, 2016, Chief Financial Officer Ajay Seth said Maruti's exposure to yen amounted to 21 to 22% of its revenue. Payment in rupees is likely to bring down the yen exposure to 15 to 17%, said Ashish Padar, an analyst at advisory IDBI Capital. In fiscal year 2014-15, Maruti's imports made up 16% of its net sales, while royalty as a percentage of sales was 5.7%. The change in the currency in which royalty payments are made is part of an agreement that Maruti signed with its parent in September 2015, which allowed it to make the currency switch to a new model that it plans to introduce over the next 10 years. The Brezza is the first of those and will be followed by the Ignis micro SUV, which the company plans to introduce during the festive season later this year. Yen-denominated royalty payments will continue only on existing models, Chairman R.C. Bhargava said last year. An analysis of the company's average net profit margins over the past 11 years shows that the Japanese currency has been one of the most important variables in the company's profitability, Mint reported on May 1, 2015. In quarters when the yen weakened, and consequently the rupee strengthened, Maruti Suzuki's profit soared. The converse was equally true. Fiscal 2016 turned out to be a year when the yen's movement did not work to Maruti's advantage. For the quarter ended March 31, the rupee weakened by 7.34% against the yen. Analysts expect this to have an impact on the company's quarterly earnings. Phillip Capital's Night Sharma expects Maruti Suzuki's EBITDA margin to advance only 4 percentage points compared to a quarter ago. This could mark an otherwise strong year for Maruti Suzuki, which ended fiscal 2016 with record sales of 1,429,248 units, an increase of 10.6% from a year ago. Its domestic sales stood at 1,305,351 units, another record. Despite the impressive operational performance, Maruti's shares shed over 19% in the January-March quarter, while the benchmark Sensex has dropped 3% over the period. On Wednesday, Maruti shares rose 4.42% to Rs.3734.60, while Sensex gained 1.91% to 25,626.75 points.